very much. Good evening once again. My name is Richard Abbey. A legal practitioner. I studied law and I'm called to the Nigerian bar as a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court. However, I practice as a real estate consultant. That is introducing myself as a person. And I would also like to introduce Lagos Real Estate Academy. Sorry, I just started to attend to some distraction. Okay, so let me talk about Lagos Real Estate Academy in just some few seconds. It's it's an initiative, right, to educate the public, the general audience about real estate, right? To educate and inform people, because you cannot make a better decision than the quality of information that you have. And real estate being what it is requires, some level of understanding so as to not get your fingers burnt in dealing with real estate transactions. It's what we call, it is quite esoteric, if I'm permitted to use that word. It requires intricate knowledge, technical details, which if it's not mindful of, can get him into some loss. Please let me mute every other person. I'm getting some negative feedback. Please allow me some seconds so I can get some decorum. So we can all hear. All right, so that is Lagos Real Estate Academy. We've had several sessions in the past where we've spoken about land titles, how to investigate titles. We've spoken about even building from A to Z. We had such intensive session for that, and I'm sure people who attended that session will just go ahead and start building themselves, because it was such, a deep and insightful time. We've also spoken about mortgages, how to access mortgage, how to access the NHF, the National Housing Fund, and some other topics in time past. But today we're going to be talking about how to register land titles and land documents. And I'm sure you will love being part of the session tonight. So without further ado, I would like to lay some foundation for our discussion tonight and then introduce our speakers. They are already connected with us. I will introduce them in a moment. I'm sure they are ready for us also tonight. So what we're talking about tonight is registering land titles and documents, right? As I always say for real estate transaction, that more important than the land you're buying is the documentation that covers the land. More important than the land you're buying is the documentation that covers the land. So the land in itself is, let's say, 20%, if I'm allowed to give that analogy. Land itself is 20%. The documentation that covers it is about 80%. So you want to be certain about that when entering into land transaction. Now, there are two aspects of land documentation, which understanding is very critical. That's by way of convenience. On my own part, we have verification and registration. Verification and registration. One, verification. Two, registration. By verification, I mean the verifying the roots, ascertaining the validity of the title of a prospective seller by a buyer. Verifying and ascertaining the validity of the title, that is the claim of ownership of a prospective seller by a buyer. That is one aspect of land documentation. So for instance, you want to buy a property, you want to invest in land, you need to take deliberate effort to ascertain that the person who is selling to you has valid claim of titles to such property and is not encumbered in any way by some adverse claims by another person, or even worse still, by the government. Perhaps it's government committed. You want to ascertain that. That is one aspect of land documentation that is critical. And then the other aspect is registration, or what we call perfection of title. What does that mean? Like an owner of a property or a buyer of property with documents for that property. How do you perfect the title? How do you go ahead to register the title such that you can just go ahead, put it under your pillow and sleep, and you can pass it to 4, 5 generations without any adverse claims whatsoever on the property? So those two aspects of land documentation are critical. And of course, they are going to be having bearing in our discussion tonight. I want to welcome each and every one of you tonight to meet. I'm going to introduce our panelists very shortly. We have a lawyer, an expert in land law. That we also have a state officer from the Land Registry, and thirdly, we have a state officer from the Surveyor General office. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves one after the other. What detail would we need? Your name, if possible, your state of origin. You might not need your marital status, and tell us where you work, and that should be all. Your name, state of origin, and then tell us where you work, and any other detail that you think might be relevant for our audience tonight. So let me first call on Barrister Peter Abraham to introduce himself.
My food now before I can use this not to fill my stomach.
Hello, sir.
Okay, Barrister Peter, please give me a moment. Let me mute. I'll mute everyone, and then please you can kindly unmute yourself again to address us. Thank you. Okay, you can unmute yourself, Barrister Peter.
So, sorry, Barrister Richard, before you go, I've been trying to. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Your network is. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes, the network is bad because someone is trying to reach me right now. I've been trying to address an issue. Somebody was just picked by that Aja. One of us, you know him very well, the lawyer. So we're just trying to sort out and get the police to release him. So that's what I've been on. So I didn't even follow your conversation very well.
Okay,
because
that's fine. I was just trying to lay foundation, which is just a general foundation. Then afterwards, introduce our panel, which I was calling you first for the introduction. So,
okay.
Do you want to introduce yourself now? Or okay, yeah.
Yes, I will introduce myself now. Go off, and then deal with this, and then come back. Right. So my name is Barrister Peter Abraham. I'm the managing partner of Fortress Link Law Partners. Office is in Victoria Island. We deal in varieties of legal issues that span almost across all the different legal sectors, if I would put it that way. And I've known Barrister Richard for quite some time now, and he mentioned this to me and asked me to join the panel. I'm very, very willing to offer the little I can help to anyone who needs any information, particularly about registration of title in Lagos State based on my practice in that aspect. So thank you for having me today.
Thank you very much. We're glad to have you. So we hope that the issue is sorted out as swift and as
Yes.
amicable as possible. Thank you very much. We hope to have you back.
All right.
All right, thank you. Let's have Surveyor Nike from the Surveyor General's office to introduce herself.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Ma'am.
Good evening. Well, my name is Nikki Alfred, as you said earlier. It's nice being here. I'm a surveyor. I work with Lagos State Office of State Surveyor General, but I'm in Lansborough, so it's nice to be here.
Thank you very much. Glad to have you. And I actually wouldn't mind if we have our panelists come up with their videos. We'd really like to relate with you. As you can see me now, I think it really makes right. So as much as possible, please, if you can, we would really appreciate that. Right. Thank you very much. Now, finally, we have Mr. Adekunle. Mr. Adekunle, please, can you introduce yourself now? And afterwards,
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good
My name
evening,
is
sir.
Mr. Fumbi Adekunle. I work with land services in Lagos State Lands Bureau. So I'll be talking today on anything relating to land titling and registration. You can just hit me up and let me know. I'll be able to talk more about that. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So our power just got cut off. Apologies for the darkness. So I'll put on the alternate power supply. That's our generator. Let me not speak. Our generator, everybody has it. I'll put on generator now so that you can all see again. All right, let's start. Let's go straight. Now, we want to go over to Surveyor Nike. We want Surveyor Nike to give us her overview address. She's going to be talking to us about registering, land surveyor, registering a survey plan, right? Registering a survey plan in Lagos State. And I'm sure it also has almost the same thing across Nigeria. So, Surveyor Nike, over to you. Surveyor Nike, are you with us? Is she here? Did she get cut off? Okay, I think she got cut off.
Actually,
Okay,
she told me she's trying to prepare her slides for the meeting earlier, so maybe she's still working on it.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But Peter, do you want to give us your overview in 10 minutes? Are you? Let me know if you're settled yet. Maybe we should go over to Mr.
I can do an overview on.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, I can do an overview. So, with regards to registration of titles in Lagos State, first I would like to say you need to know different titles you can register with regards to land in Lagos State. I believe some of you have heard a lot. Maybe you are still struggling to know what is excision, what is CFO, what is deed of assignment. This to all of that because I've seen some of his posts. So I'll just go on with the process. After you have purchased your property, how do you now register it through the Land Bureau in Alausa? So when you buy any property and a good title, meaning that it either has a CFO or you're purchasing from someone who had acquired from someone who has a CFO and has registered his deed of assignment. What you need to get also from the person is a deed of assignment, which will be in your name accompanied with a survey plan. And that survey plan has to be drawn by a lodge at the office of the Surveyor General. And he would give you alongside with what we call the red copy, which you would submit together with your deed at the land services. So I'll just mention a few of the documents you would need when you're submitting. Those days, passports were not needed, but now passport photographs are needed if it is an individual that is submitting the application. I would advise that you contact a lawyer who is versed in that to do the process for you, because it can actually be very tedious and hectic. Mr. Adekunle is here. He will tell you, he's one of the officers in lands. He will tell you that, man, it is not an easy process, to go by. So your 3 deed of assignments accompanied with 3 survey plans attached, you would have to prepare a locational sketch. You would also have to take a photograph of the site. So you attach a locational sketch, attach the photograph of the site. You would also need an application letter. You would need the certified true copy of the root of title. If in your deed of assignment you had cited the hierarchy, if that's the right word to use, or the delineation of the title up to your point, you have to now produce all the CTC of all those documents that you had cited in your deed of assignment. So attach with your passport photographs, 3 passport photographs. You pay the charting and endorsement fee to Lagos State. The receipts will be printed out for you, which you would also attach to your application. Am I missing out anything? So I think those are the documents you would need upon submission of your application. So when you submit, file number will be given to you.
I think that should be network issues. Okay. I think that should be network issues. It's something we're all familiar with, particularly at this part of the world. So there is a possibility also from your end. Let me quickly mention this, that there's also a possibility from your end that network cuts you off at any point and you really can't connect well.
Okay, so I wasn't cut off. I told you I was trying to resolve an issue, so they just caused me.
That's fine.
Okay, so like I said, with those documents you submit your application. Like I said, those days also you pay the sum of 3,000 naira when submitting the application, but now they've made it free. So when you submit, they give you a file number, and that is where your journey begins, your main journey. Processing it, and it will be assigned to an officer. Mr. Adekunle is a fantastic person. I've worked with him for some time. And I always try to get my files to him because he is a very diligent man. He is always on point dealing with his files on his table. So it will be assigned to an officer. The officer would minute it to survey. Survey will confirm the survey to be sure that it is genuine. Check the coordinates to be sure that the property falls in the right place, not a place under acquisition or committed area. Once they confirm that, they send it back to the Lands Bureau, and then the officer will now work on the file and raise an assessment, which is the fees you're supposed to pay for your consent. And the fees. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so the fees are, you pay for consent, you pay for stamp duty, you pay for registration, you pay for capital gains. In some instances, you pay for neighborhood, and then if it is a corporate organization, you pay for business premises. When you submit those payments, the officer will again send it for confirmation. Once the payments are confirmed, he moves your file to, if it's a junior officer, he moves it to his superior, who would minute it to quality control. Quality control will check through. From quality control, they will move it to the DLS office. That's the Director of Land Services. The DLS would then also do their own due diligence, move your file to the PS, that's the Permanent Secretary. From the Permanent Secretary's office, they move it to the Commissioner, who would sign on behalf of the governor. There are some designated commissioners whose assignment is just to consent to transactions, who will now give the governor's consent and return it back. When it comes back, you will go through the process of clearing your tax. Before then, you should have cleared your tax, because you will see the assessment for your tax also. You would have cleared your tax, and you will now pick the dates for stamp duty. If it's a federal stamp duty, you do it. If it's a state, their office is just downstairs there.
Okay, I think Barrister Peter is still trying to sort that issue that is currently on. Please, we apologize for the interruption. Yeah. Whilst waiting for him, please, I want to really appeal to us. The first thing, okay, let me mention what I was trying to say. I was trying to say that the meeting is being recorded and it will be uploaded on our YouTube. It will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. That's just type Lagos Real Estate Academy on YouTube, and then this recording would pop up. It will be uploaded before the end of tonight, so you can always catch up with the replay. Now, the second thing is, I really want to appeal to us, and is it appeal or apologize to us? We had issues upgrading our Zoom plan from, okay, so we got our account got downgraded back to the basic plan. We had issues upgrading it back to the professional plan that would enable us to have more than 40 minutes of time on Zoom, but we weren't able to do that up to this meeting. I would really want to apologize for that. The implication of this is that by, let's say, 7:40, this meeting will time out. Click the same link with which you joined this meeting, and it will bring you back. As soon as the meeting cuts off, please, I apologize again. This is unlike us. We always have a professional subscription, but then we just had issues, doing that before this meeting. Please, if it times out, please kindly reconnect. We apologize once again. Barrister Peter, please, you can continue.
Okay, so like I was saying earlier, when you clear your tax, after clearing your tax, your file will now be moved to registry for registration. So the registry people will also confirm your payments for registration and then work on the file. And then that's when it will be properly registered and scanned into the database, so that everyone that goes there will be able to see that you are the valid owner of so property, resident at wherever it is in Lagos. So that is for governor's consent on deed of assignment. The CFO is a little more tricky,
Okay,
because
Barrister Peter,
yes.
sorry to interrupt. I think for the purpose of this overview, you've done a very good job. so that we also, I want Mr.
Okay.
Adekunle from the Land Registry to address us on the C of O, and also touch on the governor's consent also in 10 minutes, because I'm convinced that more of what we're going to be doing today is going to be answering questions, right? Answering questions. So I'm sure several people here have different questions that they want to ask concerning land titles, registration, and land document registration. And you've done a fantastic job for the overview. I really want to say thank you very much. I want us to take let's take Surveyor Nike. Let's take Surveyor Nike in 10 minutes also, and take Mr. Adekunle after Surveyor Nike in 10 minutes also with an overview, right? Afterwards, I'll ask 1 or 2 questions from the different panelists, and then the floodgates of questions can then open for people who have questions to ask. Before I hand over to Surveyor Nike, I want you to understand the essence of bringing these different panelists in. Barrister Peter is an expert in land law and also land transactions, right? Given what I mentioned about real estate, and also this aspect of real estate, that is land registration and land document registration, it is an esoteric it's an esoteric field. It's a field that requires technical detail. It is not something like cars that you can just go to the market and buy for yourself. If you're dealing with real estate, please get a lawyer. Don't attempt to, you can't even do it yourself. It can frustrate you. It can frustrate you. And you know, we have some bureaucratic issues in this part of the world. It is best, it's best to use a legal practitioner, an expert in the field, someone like Barrister Peter Abraham. He would be a midpoint for you to connect. It would be the point of contact, not midpoint, the point of contact to connect with the Surveyor General's office for any affairs you may have there, or the Land Bureau, the Land Registry, right, for any affairs you may have there. That is the essence of having a land law expert on the panel tonight. Over to you now, Surveyor Nike. Let us have your overview. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for what happened earlier. It was a technical issue here. Actually, I'm going to talk about the process of getting a valid registered survey. Okay, first of all, I'll say, what is a survey plan? A survey plan is a document that measures the boundary of a parcel of land to give an accurate measurement and description of the land. What are the things you see in the survey plan? The things you see in the survey plan are the name of the owner of the land surveyed, the address or description of the land surveyed, the size of the land surveyed, the drawn out portion of the land. So the signature of the surveyor that signed the survey plan, and a stamp showing the land is either free from government acquisition. Well, there's stages of going through that. First of all, if you want to get a land in Lagos, first thing you do is to see a surveyor to help you check, to follow you to the site first, before you even buy the land. The surveyor will follow you to the site, pick a point, take it back to the office and check whether it's free or not. If it's free, you can go ahead and continue doing your survey plan. If it's not free, if it's committed, I will advise not to go. That's the reason why you have a survey on ground. Then after that, after the surveyor has been to the site, do the necessary things, go back to the office, get your survey plan ready. But before then, the surveyor still needs to do some things, because there's going to be a big key numbers attached to the survey plan. there's some payments to that. After that, the surveyor will need to register your survey plan, because if the survey plan is not registered, the survey plan is void. But it has to be registered at office of the State Surveyor General's office. How do you go about that? The surveyor will be the one to do that. And that's where we have record copy. Record copy is an original copy of the survey plan, the sketch they've drawn from the site. And it has to be lodged in the Surveyor General's office. Without that, any title cannot be done. Any registration cannot be done, because they have to confirm whether your survey plan is being registered at the Surveyor General's office. And from there, you can now go ahead and do whatever you need to do. But you should be very sure that if the landed property you're buying is free from government acquisition. That's all I have to say regarding that. Hello?
Yeah, I'm with
Hello?
you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
So the basic checks before paying for any land that will advise, and I will say, and I will talk about this evening, is verify the land if it's free from government acquisition. Verify that the seller is a true owner, and if not, that he has the right to sell the land. Verify that the title, if any, is genuine from Lands Bureau, and verify that there's no lingering court case or dispute on the land. So those are the stages, those are the things you need to do before getting a survey plan or before getting a land in Lagos. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Surveyor Nike. We have one or two questions for you, but then we'll be taking those questions after we have Mr. Adekunle. Please don't
All
forget,
right.
if the meeting times out, we apologized earlier that we were unable to resubscribe to our professional plan for Zoom, right? We apologize for that. If the meeting times out at any point, please reconnect with the same link that you joined the meeting with initially. Thank you once more, Surveyor Nike. Thank you for that.
You're
We
welcome.
come with our questions for you much later. Can we have Mr. Adekunle now? Thank you, Mr. Adekunle.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My name is Mr. Adekunle once again. So I'm going to be starting with a very, very germane land tightening process we have in on our hands mostly, which is governor's consent. So in the issue of governor's consent, once you've submitted your application and it has a file number, you start your journey in lands by processing it, by pursuing the file. Most of our applicants usually have a lawyer or a runner attached to the file to pursue the file. So mostly once I check when the file comes to my table, is I check if the root of titles, if there is a nexus between each other, that is the person assigning from the assignor to the assignee, if there's a root of title, if there's a nexus. So I check that. That's even before sending the file to the Surveyor General. So once I send the file to the Surveyor General, it takes a while. It takes maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Sometimes it could take a month before the file comes back, because they'll do their due diligence there to check all if the land is on an adjoining property, if it's on a road alignment, if it has government, what is it called? If it's government, if it's government, what's it called? What can I put it? If it's government attached,
Okay, yeah.
So that, and so when the files come back, we do our assessment, and our assessment, normally we can do an assessment for a file that comes back, that a file that is a government scheme, We have government schemes. An example of a government scheme is Magodo government scheme, Lekki Phase 1, Omode residential scheme. Those are government schemes. Those ones don't go to Surveyor General. We do our in-house charting for those files in us. We will check it against any acquisition, government revocation within the directorate. So we check it before we do our assessment. Those ones don't go to Surveyor General. So on the issue of the assessment, there are some fees they pay. Barrister Victor or Barrister Peter has already mentioned some of them, which are consent fee, the main consent fee, which is 1.5%, and everybody knows that consent fee is 1.5%. Then we have capital gains tax, stamp duty, and registration, which is 0.5%, just divided by 3 of the consent fee. Then we have neighborhood improvement charge. That one is a little bit complicated. It's NIC is usually the size of the land times 2 times 27 in the case of a gazette. Then in the case of a C of O is currently size of the land times 2 times 32. That gives us our neighborhood improvement charge. But in the case of the government scheme, they don't pay any neighborhood improvement charge. What they pay is ground rent or land use charge. So that one is going to be determined by the Land Use and Allocation Committee. LUAC is another directorate in the Lands Bureau. Are you with me?
Yes, very well.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So that's all. That's all. So that the file moves from the assessment stage to the quality control. That's where they check whether the picture that was given to us is the same thing about what is obtainable on site. That's why some some applicants try to play smart on the government where they put bare land in order to reduce their charges. Instead of what is maybe a skyscraper is on the site, they put a bare land to reduce their charges. That's where the quality control, they have their system there, they have their laptops, they check with modern day technology, and they check for it whether what was given to us is what is obtainable on site. In a case where they can't probably determine it fully, they send an officer to go on site for inspection. That's where you see our officers following applicants to sites to take pictures, to inspect, to measure, to do evaluations, because we are also estate surveyors and valuers, probably registered, and most likely, in most cases, most of us are registered with the Estate Surveyors and Valuation Registration Board of Nigeria and naives. So we carry out our evaluation processes on the applicants' files and all that. So another issue is when it gets to the DLS will cross-check everything before putting down our signature. That's just the first stage of the assignment of the governor's consent, and which is called assessment. That's where we issue our assessment letters to our applicants. That's where they pay in before we call the other stage submission. That's where they submit the receipts. In the submission stage, once they submit the receipts, the applicant will cross-check everything in the file before writing out a submission, which is the totality of all that is in the file, to the DLS, to which we then approve before it moves to the permanent secretary, which will append the signature to, then to the commissioner, which is signed on behalf of the governor. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So on the commissioner, once the file comes back from the commissioner, they will have to clear the tax payment to. Yeah, that's why there's an LRS, Lagos Inland Revenue Service desk. There's a room for them in Lands Bureau. That's where they clear the tax and all that. You can pay your tax there. Sometimes if it's in the case of a company, if the company is the assigner, or the company is the assignee, if the company is the assigner, capital gains tax will be paid to FRS. If a company is the assignee, capital gains tax will be paid, stamp duty will be paid to FRS. In the case where both of them are companies, capital gains tax and stamp duty will be paid to FRS. So, yes, what else can I say about governor's consent? Then it moves from tax, after tax has been cleared, it moves to the land registry where they cite all the documents and they cite all the documents. That's the essential part. It moves to the land registry where they cite all the documents and check for the totality of the file, where they register. Then they begin to scan the title document, the new title document, which has been signed by the commissioner. They scan it into their systems. The next thing is collection, where it comes back to the collection unit. I'm privileged to serve as a land officer and also as a collector, because I'm in the collection unit, where applicants come to receive their already concluded deeds. So once they come to collect their already concluded title documents, we ask them to bring a valid ID card, which is already in the file, or which has a nexus with the company in the file. That is to be sure that the person running the file from the beginning is the person that is still running the file at the collection stage, to reduce the issue of people collecting titles that they did not run, or issues discrepancies between lawyers. So that's why we have the collection unit. There we ask for ID card, national ID card, driver's license, etc. So once they do that, they register, they fill a document, then they collect their title document, the already concluded governor's consent. That's all about governor's consent. I hope I'll be able to convince everybody about the consent.
All right,
All right.
thank you very much, Mr. Adekule.
All right, thank you too.
Those were intense technical details. Now, please, this meeting is being recorded. I'm
All
sure,
right.
I'm certain not all the things that are being said now might be fully appreciated by you all yet, but then this meeting will be uploaded to our YouTube
All right.
channel, so that it will be available for anyone who gets into this process and gets perhaps stuck at a point, and then you can always come back to refresh your mind that we had a Zoom meeting. Mr. Adekunle gave us a breakdown of the step-by-step procedure to obtain the governor's consent. Surveyor Nike gave us procedures about registering survey, and what of you. Now, after these technical details, I want to ask some specific general questions, and
Okay.
afterwards we would have our audience ask their own questions. Now, thank you very much, Mr. Adekunle, for such an insightful time. I want to direct my first question to Surveyor Nike. Now, Surveyor Nike, what is the implication of a land without a proper registered survey plan in Lagos, for instance? What is the implication of a land that is, of course, that has a claim of ownership by someone? What is the implication of such land without a proper registered survey plan in Lagos? What are the limitations to such land? What are the limitations? Over to you, Surveyor Nike. Surveyor Nike, are you there? Okay. I don't know what happened. Okay, can we have Mr. Adekunle answer the question then? Please, what is the implication of a land without a proper registered survey plan in Lagos? Okay, Surveyor Nike, I think she has connected back. I was asking a question, Surveyor Nike, please. What is the implication of a land without a proper registered survey plan in Lagos? What is the implication? Does he have any limitations? Please, Can you help us answer that?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. The question again, please.
The question is, what is the implication of a land without a proper registered survey plan in Lagos? What are the
Okay.
implications or what are the limitations?
Okay, thank you. The person will not be able to do any documentation. That what I mean by do any documentation is register any title. See either COO, governor's consent, any title cannot be done if your survey plan is not being registered, as in if it's not properly done. So that's the implication, because
Okay.
it's
Not
kind of
able to-
void. You cannot do anything. You cannot register it, because when the survey plan, when the record copy is not lodged, that means you cannot, because no matter what you're doing, it has to go to Surveyor General's office. And if you do a survey plan and it's not being registered, if the record copy is not being lodged, that means you cannot do anything, cannot do any documentation, cannot have any title or the land. And that can lead to, okay, let me cite an example. The last time they did all this pipeline explosion, this setback, everything, all those things that happened recently in Lagos State. Mr. Fumbi can testify to that. There's some compensation that was given to those people that registered their titles and have their COO on their land. So if you have a survey that is not registered, you cannot have any documentation. You cannot have it being registered.
Okay, so two implications now. You can't register, you can't obtain a CFO, and if in case of any damage, or let's say the government comes to take over the land, and there can never be a compensation for anyone whose survey plan is not registered. And by implication also, it means you can't also build on such land, right?
Right.
Yes, you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
We can't build because, well, with what we have around now, people are building, but the best thing for you to do is just to get is best for you to get it done, get it registered, so that you can have everything together. And you know, okay, I'm the owner, I'm the real owner of this place. Nobody's coming to take it from me. Even the government, if government comes tomorrow, okay, this land, this is my CO of what I have on this property. Do you understand? Yeah. So that is the way to go. But because the way Lagos is here and there, people are, but the best that someone can do is to register the title, to register your.
Okay, thank you very much. Flowing from that, I want to ask Mr. Adekunle a question, and that will be all from me, and I will allow our participants to ask their question. Now, can I assert title by a duly registered survey? Can I assert title to a property by a duly registered survey? So all I have is a survey plan, a record copy of a survey plan. Can I assert title? Can that be a valid route of title to property for me?
No. That's not valid. It's not sufficient.
Can you tell us more about
that? Yeah, because you cannot just submit a survey plan and need it to be your own route of title. It has to be the valid route of title we have are maybe deed of assignment, conveyance, what's it called? There are a lot of route of title that we accept, but we cannot just accept a survey plan as just a route of title that, and you want subsequent transactions on land to be done on it. It won't fly.
What if, for instance, from a developing area like Ibejuleki, I buy, and largely we have largely untitled lands at Ibejuleki.
Yes.
and I acquire a portion of land, let's say 2 acres from a community or a family, and then
Yes.
I do the survey plan and I register it, can that be
Okay.
some valid claim of ownership for me?
Uh, there has
And
to
then
be
to
some
what
accompanying
extent can
document the
my
community
can,
will give you. Hello.
yeah, go ahead.
I said there has to be some accompanying documents the community will give you. There has to be receipts and all that. It cannot just be your survey plan that you registered and you feel that will be a valid root of title or a valid title for your landed doc for your land. I don't think that will fly. I don't think such transaction will fly. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, let me open the floodgates for the questions now from our participants, and this is how it's going to go. Please, if you have a question, just indicate with the raise hand button. Indicate with the raise hand button, and then I would ask you to unmute, and then you can ask your question. So just click the raise hand button, and then I would call on you. So we have Mr. Adekule from the Land Registry. He has everything you need to know, the information about everything you need to know about processing a CFO, obtaining governor's consent, registering your deed of assignment. And then here we have also Surveyor Nike from the Surveyor General's office. I'm sure our participants have 1 or 2 questions to ask. Just click the raise hand button on the Zoom interface, and then I would call you and your question will be entertained. So let's go first for Orisha Matosa. Hey, I'm sorry, I hope I didn't murder that name. Orisha Matosa, you can unmute yourself.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
My question is for Surveyor Nike. And the first question is the issue of a survey that is more than 10 years. In particular, a survey for a property that was bought in 2003. And I am now applying for obligation. That's number one. And then number two, is it true that in Lagos State, different areas in the state have different costs, command different cost of survey? For example, my property is in Etiosa. It's in actually in Shongotedo, and I am now told that because I bought the land in 2003, that survey plan that I had accompanying my deed, dated 2003, has to be upgraded, number one. Number two, and that because that land is in Etiosa, that the actual cost of upgrading is 1 million naira, but that for property that is so old, then it is 75%. Is this correct? Surveyor Nike, please throw some light on it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Well, actually, the first question hello, can you hear me, please?
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. The first question was a survey that is more than 10 years. Yes. Actually, the reason why that is being in place is because actually it's not necessary. But the thing is, the survey that is done 10 years ago, if you check the area of that place that the land that you bought, and you did the survey, yes, 10 years ago, there's a lot of changes. There's going to be a road, a lot of things have changed. So the reason why they said, okay, you should upgrade the survey plan because of the new things, the new amenities around the area. But actually, it's not really compulsory for you to do. If the survey plan is well seated and well positioned, there's no need for you to upgrade it. But the first thing you can do is to just take it to the General's office, let them do a land information for you. So if there's going to be any correction that you need to be done on the survey plan, they will tell you. And you can meet with the surveyor that signed the survey plan for you and upgrade the survey plan for that.
Okay.
Then regarding the fee, Lagos Etiosa. Well, we have scale of fee. We have scale of fee for survey. We have different prices for. We have different prices, and it's written inside the scale of fee. It was done 2017. At least it was recent 2017. The price was lower before, like 2012 upward. But 2017, they changed it. So it's possible you get a survey plan done around that price because that's the minimum fee for a TIOSA survey plan. The person is not lying because that's what they asked us to. So that's it. I hope I've answered the question.
Yeah, well, partly. Where does one see this fee to verify? For example, I mean, the surveyor is telling me, but I don't have any document to show that this fee is going to government. I mean, when he's asking that I pay 750,000 naira, for example, is this fee going to government? Because he's asking me to write the check in his name.
Actually, there's the way they go about the payments. It's not actually directly to the government. We have our institution, Nigerian Institution of Surveyors, so NIS. So if you want to pay full payments for the survey, 1 million can be paying to the NIS account. Then they go about whatever they want to do on it. So that's the way it's being done.
Well, is it that the money that he's paid to the surveyor, he now pays it to the NIS?
Now, NIS, Nigerian Institution of Surveyors. Yeah, actually, there's a way they share it. The part of the money goes to the government account, parts go to the surveyor that signed the job. So that's the way it's, and parts go to the NIS too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that's the way it's been done. Parts go to the government.
I mean, I don't need to depend only on what the surveyor is telling me. Isn't there a Lagos State document that I can see that has this information?
Well, it's actually not really Lagos State document like that because you are meeting with a registered surveyor outside. So it's kind of it's under Lagos State, under the umbrella of NIS, like that, Nigerian Institution of Surveyors. So if it's possible, you can ask the surveyor that asked you to pay the money to show you that you want to see the scale of fee for the.
Yes.
Because it's a private surveyor you are meeting. So it's a private surveyor that is going to sign the survey plan, not the Lagos State, not the Surveyor General of Lagos State.
Okay, no, I mean, this is a real scenario now. Okay. I have a land that has been surveyed since 2003, right? So now yes, I'm applying for governor's consent for the property. And first of all, I'm glad to hear you say that upgrading the survey plan is not an obligation. It's not necessary. That means that if it is necessary, there will be a query from the Surveyor General's office. Is that it? Okay, so if there's a query from the Surveyor General's office, the query would read, upgrade this survey.
No, the query will not read upgrade. Okay. Is it that the property is not, that's what I said earlier, that, there's a lot of changes. There's going to be a lot of changes that has been done on the land. Like, okay, there's going to be a road. There's a lot of facilities around.
That is around the property.
Around the property. So because as at the time you bought the land, at the time you did the survey plan, which is 10 years ago, I'm very sure maybe there's no building beside it, maybe there's just a mere land, and there's a lot of things that has changed. So that's the reason why I said, okay, maybe the surveyor that did the survey plan as at that time did not actually, because there's some, okay, let me cite an example now. Okay, maybe there's a land at Ibejuleki, you know, now, a area that is not well developed, you know. And the surveyor is, okay, please, I need a surveyor to help me to survey this land. You know, these people that said, okay, my land is, you know, that tree at that end. That's where my land is, close to that coconut tree. Come to this, you know how they normally describe from afar now. Okay, that is where, and the surveyor will not be able to, get to the property itself, like, okay, get the accuracy that you'll be able to measure it, because they were just okay, the survey plan is being drawn. But eventually, with a lot of things has changed now. A lot of things. We change our system. We upgrade our system. The system we are using, we upgrade it every time. So a lot of things have changed. A lot of them have changed. So in that kind of scenario now, my governor's consent, definitely there's going to be an error because it's not accurate. Even the description, the person that owns the land does not even get the main place, or as in his property, as in he was unable to describe his property very well. Do you understand? So that kind of situation, they have to redo the survey plan. So that is it. Do you understand, ma? So the 10 years ago, a lot of building around your property, roads, a lot of things. So coupled with that, it might fall on adjoining property, on road alignment. So that's the reason. Maybe that is what the person check and see. Maybe the survey is not well seated, is not well positioned on the property that he said, okay.
Okay, so
that's something, man.
Yes, that means that if the survey plan is being upgraded, say now, it requires the surveyor to go back to the land.
Yes, the site, yes.
And do the drawing again.
And do the drawing again, yes.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
I think we should
I think the question should have been answered because we've taken like almost 10 minutes on this question. So we could also give time for other people to ask questions, right? If you need further clarification, you can always contact me, right? And I would also always link you up with Surveyor Nike much later so that this could proceed. But then I think to an extent the question was addressed, right?
Yes. I said it is because of this question that I joined this meeting.
Okay.
Remember the person who appeared in the meeting? I was the first person who came.
Yeah.
It's because of the question. I came properly to the question.
But were you satisfied with the point?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much, man. Okay, let's take a question that was sent to the chat area from Adubari Daniel. His questions goes thus. Good evening, all. Please, my question is, I have 40, I'm sure this question is from Mr. Dekule. I have 40 acres of land which was given to me to sell by a family. Now, can I do a survey for that 40 acres of land, get the CFO and the necessary documents before selling out to individuals? Mr. Dekule, I think this question is for you.
Sorry, please come again with the question.
The question is on the chart and it says, I have 40 acres of land which was given to me to sell by a family. Can I do a survey for that 40 acres of land, get the CFO and the necessary documents before?
Yeah, sure. You want to do your CFO, you can sell out to individuals now. Once you get your CFO, you can sell out. Then the individuals will now do their own government consent on it.
Okay.
Sure, you can.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Hello. You can.
Okay.
You can. So the individuals buying will now do the government CFO.
Okay. Can I rephrase the question? With let's ask.
All right.
If we have such kind of land, for example, let's take Ibejuleki CEO for
all right,
mostly untitled land, and I acquire like 2 acres or 3 acres from a family, an untitled land.
Okay.
So at what point At what point can I, okay, let's say I'm even constituting it an estate. At what point can I begin
Once
to
you have
sell
your
an untitled land that I may have acquired? Let's say it's a
legitimately,
deed of
once you have
assignment.
your C of O on the land, you can start selling.
All right, thank you very much. Let me take this other question also from Raphael. I want to take this question from Raphael. You can still hold on, Mr. Adekunle. This might also be for you. I'm coming. Let me scroll down. My question is on building plan approval. I want to know how long it takes to obtain building plan approval to build on the land at Ibejileki. Also, where is the legal state of
building plan? Anything building plan approval has to do with the Ministry of Physical Planning. Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Anything building plan approval has to do with the Ministry of Physical Planning. But I think before you can apply for building plan approval, you have to have your governor's consent or C of O or a valid title before applying for building plan approval.
I think that answers your question, Ayo. Okay, I think I asked another. Okay, that was for Raphael. Okay, this is Ayo's question. If I am buying a government scheme land or house, would I have to do a personal survey plan and land title?
You don't have to do a personal survey plan, except in the case of when you are doing a subdivision. That's you are dividing the portion of the land into portions. That means you are dividing the land into portions. Then you have to do a subdivisional survey plan. It already has a government survey plan signed by the Surveyor General of the state.
Fantastic. Nika, you want to say something to that?
No. Oh. Yeah, I just want to add to what you said. You don't need to have a personal survey plan. You said it all. So.
Fantastic. Do we have any other person raising their hands to ask questions? Okay, 2 participants raised. Yewande Mordi, please go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, so my question is this. I got a land from someone that already has governor's consent, but the governor's consent wasn't registered because according to them, they said there's meant to be like 4 numbers at the back of the document. It wasn't there, but there was already a stamp and a signature of, that governor stuff on it. So now I mean that I need to register his own governor's consent first before I can even start my own process. So now, I need to know am I supposed to collect all the documents? They said there were 4 copies. I need to get those 4 copies first before I start my own process.
Okay.
So I'm confused.
I think the issue with yours is that you are actually applying for a double consent, which will be having headaches on it in the directorate, because sometimes you get a directive from the PSR, all double consent should be on hold, or sometimes you get yours is a double consent, and the issue of double consent is currently shaking right now. So you need to be on hold with it, please. For the
okay, Mr. Adekunle, I think her question is she acquired the land from someone whose roots. She acquired the land from someone whose root of title is governor's consent. The person had governor's consent to the land. So purportedly has governor's consent to the land. So she bought the land and she wants to perfect her title. But then it turns out to be the root of title of the seller isn't perfect. They are saying the person who sold to her really didn't perfect their governor's consent. So how would she go about it? Am I right? That question?
Yes, although the terminologies I don't understand. The only thing they told me was that it wasn't registered.
Okay,
that's what they told me. They said it wasn't registered. I don't know if it's the same thing.
It wasn't registered.
Yes, but the governor had already stamped and signed, but it was not registered. Because they said there was meant to be like a 4-digit.
Okay. Why wasn't it there?
Honestly, I don't know. It was at the point when we wanted to start our own that they told us that
at the point of collection, that's what we check. That's what we check in the deeds. At the back, we check whether at the back everything is properly signed, everything, the registration numbers are properly documented. So I don't know how what you are saying is possible. It's a miracle.
Okay, you're saying that it can't be. It must before it was signed. It must have been registered.
Okay, so I have something to say about that also, Mr. Adekunle, can I? Okay, I'm thinking possibly there are 2 possibilities. Okay. We hope it's not the first one. The first possibility is that it's a framed governor consent and it's not a genuine governor consent. We are hoping.
Can I come in, please? Because can I come in?
Yes.
Okay, so I had to get a lawyer to help me go to land and check, and that 2012 somebody picked 4 documents from them.
Okay. Yeah. Now, let me continue. So that's the first possibility. That means that is not the site on. The second possibility is this: there are three procedures for perfection
Yes.
of title. Governor's consent is just one of them. We have consent at Mr. Adekunle's office. That's the land registry.
Yes.
Perhaps he merely got the governor's consent and didn't go ahead to do the stamping and the eventual registration,
Okay.
Yes.
which gives that
Okay.
number, right? So that are the three processes. Mr. Adekunle,
Okay, I think what you are saying is true.
Yes.
In this scenario, if the person did not finalize the governor's consent process by stamping the deeds in the land registry, that's the final stage of governor's consent. The stamping by the registrar, where the registrar will sign, where they scan it to their system, they'll give it a number and a volume. So maybe that's the stage where the person got stopped. Governor's consent now. You have to finish up the
process.
The process.
If I can start my own.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, okay, all right, thank you.
But mind you, these are the chances you have, right? There's a penalty, there's a default fee, right? For I hope that deed is not dated yet. Well, even if it's not dated, the governor's consent has been obtained. There's a default fee for every day after which a deed has been executed and the stamp duty has not been obtained. There's a default fee. I don't even know what the rate is now. There's a default fee. There's a penalty. So that means if you execute a deed today, there is a 60 days grace within which you obtain the stamp duty. Default fee for every day that goes by and that stamp duty is not obtained. I want you to take note of that, which you may bear the burden of paying. So meet with your lawyer. If you don't have one, I can always give you Barrister Peter's number, or you can even still contact Mr. Adekunle. We can always talk after this meeting. So to know where you are, to really get a lawyer to help you look into the language, to really know which stage you are.
Okay, but do I need someone was saying that I need the other copies of that governor's consent? So there were 4 copies. I need the 4 copies before I can start my own process.
4 copies? What are you doing with 4 copies?
Because I'm wondering, do I need? I already have one that was given to me by
I think why the 4 copies is being requested is so that you can go ahead and perfect the title, because as it is, it's imperfect. If you were perfect, you would just maybe need 1 copy. That's my opinion. What do you think?
I'm with you on this opinion.
Yeah. Wow. So if I don't get those 4 copies, because right now I don't have an idea where the
seller. You need to meet the seller. Wow. You need to meet the seller. All right. I think with Raphael, your question was answered. Is Raphael still here? Your question was answered. The ministry in charge of approving beauty plan is the Ministry of Physical Planning. Mr. Adekunle mentioned that, and the Ministry of Physical Planning, they will be able to let you know the duration to obtain the building plan approval. Right, Mr. Adekunle, where do they have their offices? Let's Raphael out with that.
They actually have branches all over the state, but the Ministry of Physical Planning is in Alausa. It's in the same building with Lands, just at the back of Lands Bureau.
Okay, so Mr. Raphael, I think that answers your question. So, do we have any question? Is Lawal Egbemi trying to say something? Do we have any further question? Now, let me ask this question, Mr. Adekunle.
Yes.
If I want to start, if I buy a land today, and okay, let's say I want to start. I think I think Sobenike should answer first. Both of you are going to answer this question. My question is this: how long will it take me to get a governor's consent, or if I bought it today and I get my survey plan today? First, for Nike, how long will it take me? How long estimate time? How long could it take me to obtain a red copy, the registered copy of a survey plan? How long does it go to Mr. Adekunle to apply for a C of governor's consent? Nike, how long does it take to get the registered survey?
Yeah, actually, to get the registered survey should be within like 20, 30 working days.
20-30 working days.
Yes, because you're going to make some payments to the government.
Okay, so if I take my surveyor to site now, picks coordinate or draws the survey plan for me, he can get back to me within 30 days. That's a month with the registered survey plan. What's the color of that registered survey plan?
Actually,
what color will it be?
I'm going to snap and send to you so that you can paste
it. Because I have a blue parchment, that was presented to me as a duly registered survey plan. Is that how it comes?
Yeah, it comes that way. That's the way it comes. But the record copy, you won't see the record copy.
Okay, that is the red copy, right?
Yeah, but there's a slip that comes, and there's an evidence of lodgement that comes with it. That will show that, okay, this is your survey plan.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Mr. Adekunle, I'm coming with these copies of registered survey with you. How long will it take me to process a CFO or a government consent for this? Realistically,
I can't put a time frame on it because each application has its own peculiarity.
Okay. What if everything is in order? I cross my T's, dot my I's.
If everything is in order, within 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 3 to 5 months, let's say 3 to 6. Let's say 3 to 5 months.
Also, what you're saying is within 6 months. Within 6 months, I can get a CFO if I have everything in order. If I got my checklist is ticked.
Yes, or even lesser.
Even lesser. Please, what can
in the case of government schemes that don't need to go to Surveyor General?
Okay, what are the things that can set back that application process? What are the likely things? The common things that set back?
First of all, we have query from survey.
Okay.
Are you with me? Query from survey. Query at the stage of submission. That's if the deeds were not properly typed out by the lawyer. Sometimes they make error in the size in the deeds. They make error in quoting the root of title. They make error in the registration numbers. If the deeds were not properly dated, if the schedule column was not included in the deeds, there are a lot of queries at the submission stage. That's where you read out the deeds before processing it to the commissioner. So there are a lot of queries that queries. Let's just say queries generally.
So the queries generally emanate from the deeds and the survey. So that means the work is actually to ensure that the deed is well drafted and the survey is duly registered, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, thank you very much for answering my question. Let me check if we have any further questions.
All right.
Okay, someone is asking. Okay, yesterday is asking. What is the difference between governor's consent and CFO?
I think I've answered that on the chat. Me and my colleague, Mr.
Okay.
We've answered that on the chat.
Okay. Mr. Adesola Adetunji is a colleague of yours, right?
Yes, he's a colleague of mine. He's a land admin officer.
Land admin officer.
Yes, he works as an admin officer, but he works like a land officer.
Okay. We're very pleased to have you, Mr. Adesola. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining in. Mr. Ayo is asking, does a governor's consent last 99 years like CFO? Can I answer that? Okay, Mr. Ayo. A CFO can only be issued once, right? A CFO can only be issued once. If a CFO is issued to me, it is valid for 99 years. Of course, subject to renewal at the expiration of 99 years. After the CFO is given to me, if I want to sell it, let's say I want to sell it, the unexpired residue, the remaining years left on that CFO is 89 years. After 10 years of issue, and I want to sell, I would sell by a document called deed of assignment. Deed of assignment is the document that will transfer title. Both of us will execute deed of assignment, which will transfer title from me to you. That's why it's called unexpired residue. The unexpired residue I have on my CFO is what I'm transferring to you, which is 89 years. So essentially, your governor's consent doesn't have 99. You are not getting 99 years from me, not from the government. You are getting 89 years, which is my unexpired residue on the CFO. Right? Consent is endorsed on. It's not like the governor's consent is a certificate or another document. The governor's consent is endorsed on the deed of assignment, which is the document that transfers interest in land from me to you. Governor is granting 89 years, which is the unexpired residue. So I'm sorry, CFO, it depends. It depends on the unexpired residue on the CFO from which title was transferred to you. So if I transferred title after 20 years of the issue of the CFO, what I'm alienating is 20 minus 99, that's 79. So I think that question has been answered, right? That's to Raphael. Oh, to Ayo rather. Raphael is asking, is there anything like registered deed of assignment? If yes, is it a valid title? Mr. Nika, do you want to go or assignment? If yes, is it a valid title? or Mr. Deshola, does Mr. Deshola want to make at least, let us hear your voice? Okay, anybody can answer it then. Okay, you want me to answer it? Okay, so the question again.
Hello? Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Very good to have you there.
Thank you. My name is Adeshola Adetunji. I'm a colleague. The question was, is there anything like registered deed of assignment, right?
Yes. Is it a valid title?
Okay. Yes, it is. A registered deed of assignment that has number one, that has been signed, duly signed by the governor or a representative of the governor, which can be the Attorney General of the Lagos State and any other designated company. And number two, the registered deed of registration number, that is a page number, a volume number, and the year it was registered. So that deed of assignment is the governor's consent to subsequent transaction. Is not usually given. There's no certificate for it. That deed of assignment that shows that there is a consent from the government. That means a transaction has happened between Mr. A and Mr. B. Does that answer the question?
Well. Yes, it does. Thank you very much. That's the answer to your question, Mr. Raphael. What you need to confirm is the deed of assignment registered? If the deed of assignment is registered, then it's a valid title.
However, titles can be valid and can have some sort of encumbrances. So that is the reason why you need to do search. You need to do search whenever you want to get the property to ensure that there is no caveat on that property. Caveats, it simply implies that the land is not for sale. Property, you use that property as collateral. So what we need to do is, anytime we have an interest in a particular property and that's one or two contacts from the Lagos State, that's the Lands Bureau, or you walk to our office and you can perform a search. Right now, we don't even do search like that because of we don't really do search physically again. But you need to do search and ensure that there is no encumbrance, any sort of encumbrance on that property. So you can have a registered property, but that property might have a...
Okay, Mr. Adeshola, thank you very much. And I'm sure Raphael's question has been duly answered. Oh, okay, all right. You already mentioned thank you on the chat. Okay, I think it's a good point for us to go. Don't forget, if you need access.
Hello, Richard. Sorry, before you end up, Barrister, I think Adeshola, the last speaker, actually did a good job. A valid deed of assignment, a registered one, can be deregistered. So it's one of the points just to add on is, first, it can be deregistered, it can have said. It is very important for you to engage the services of a professional who will do a proper search for you to know the state of the type in which you are indicating interest in. Either deed of assignment, who recently, when we do search on and we chart their coordinates, we realize that the coordinates either falls on a wrong location or falls under areas that has been committed or acquisition. Do those due diligence before engaging your money into anything. So please just be guided by that. If there is a protest on it, the registrar of title can deregister it.
Thank you very much, Barrister Peter. Now, please, I want to implore you. One or two persons have asked for your contacts, Barrister Peter, Surveyor Nike, Mr. Dekuli, Barrister Deshola. Please, if you don't mind, you can drop your email and phone number at the chat section so that interested persons who would want to contact you might contact you. If you feel convenient doing that, you can always drop your for us to drop tonight to really come back all the way from 7 p.m. I want to express my sincere gratitude to all our panelists. I want to thank you so much, Barrister Peter Abraham. Thank you for the effort you put into making this happen. You're very instrumental in making this conversation happen tonight. Thank you. Adeshola Adetunji for coming. I'm sure your notice would have been very short. Thank you for coming and lending also your own voice. Thank you, Sovyonike. I'm grateful. Thank you for the warm reception you gave me when I called you. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. And finally, thank you, Mr. Fumbi Adekunle. Your input has been so enormous in the conversation. Thank you for being alive all through the conversation and answering as much questions as you received of the meeting tonight. Thank you for tuning into our edition of the Lagos Real Estate Academy conversation this weekend. For further details on our meetings, our conversation, you can follow me on Instagram at Richard Abe on Instagram, and my phone number is also there. You can always pick up my phone number from there, contact me at any time. And if you need some credible real estate investment schemes that you could buy into, I have just quite a number of them, and I could always guide you accordingly. We started with an opening prayer. We wouldn't mind to close with a closing prayer.
Richard,
can we have someone? Okay.
An advice here.
Okay.
Please
okay.
please, everyone, move with your ID cards if you have to move around Lagos this period, because a colleague was arrested just a few hours ago by the Nigerian police. He's a lawyer. He drove his car just by that Abraham Adesanya parked, and then, but because he doesn't have an ID card here to identify himself, he was almost taken to the headquarters before we were contacted, and we had to reach out to the commissioner of town with your ID card. The police are angry with what has happened, and they are raiding almost everywhere. So that's just an advice.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you
all
very
of
much,
us.
Grateful for the advice. Thank you very much. Who wants? Can someone please give us a closing prayer? Any of our participants? Do you want to give us a closing?
Well, I give the opening prayer. Closing prayer as well.
Okay.
Nobody's.
I think Obina wants to.
Okay.
Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for your grace. Thank you for helping us. Thank you for a successful session. We thank you for the facilitators. We ask, Lord, that you replenish them. And we pray, Lord, that all that we've heard, all that we've taught today, will put to profitable use in our future endeavors. Thank you, Lord, for hearing us.
Amen. 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 Thank you very much, Obina. Once again, thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you, big, massive gratitude to all our panelists. We are so grateful to have you. God bless you and cause you to prosper in your endeavors in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you very much, everyone. Conversation. Put on your video, take a screenshot if you find it convenient to. Give us some goodwill on social media. If you have time to do that, we'd love it, would appreciate it. You can also tag me as Richard Abe on Instagram and give us some goodwill. God bless you. Take care and see you will be sent on Instagram. If you're not following me yet on Instagram, follow me at Richard Abe and get more details and updates about Lagos Real Estate Academy and also about investment schemes that you could buy into. Thank you very much. Good night.